Sunset, darling, you must show me, Rarity pleaded, clasping her hands dramatically as if the fate of the world depended on my answer. I pulled my phone from my pocket and opened the photo. The one of the ring. I held the screen out to her. Rarity glanced at it, then sighed with enough disappointment to wilt flowers. You know that's not what I meant. I want to see it in person. I want to feel the weight of your commitment, the symbolism, A loud snort laugh cut her off. Rainbow Dash was already doubled over on a folding chair. Rarity, you literally just want to hold the ring so you can brag you touched it first. Rarity put a hand to her chest. I want to appreciate its craftsmanship. There is a difference. Sure, Rainbow said, grinning. Craftsmanship. Totally not emotional first. Applejack, sitting cross-legged on the amp, held up her hand before it got louder. All right now. Y'all keep it down. We don't want Twilight hearing anything before Sunset's ready to tell her. Thank you, AJ, I breathed, relieved. Hey! Rainbow pointed at Applejack. Only I get to call her AJ. Applejack raised an eyebrow. Do I look like I belong to you? Rarity perked up instantly. Oh? Possessive girlfriend behaviour? How romantic. Rainbow stepped forward like she was ready to fight and blush at the same time. You're just jealous I have a girlfriend. Rarity scoffed. Please. While I support everyone's romantic pride, the idea of dating another girl myself is... From the far corner, Pinky whispered without looking up from tuning her drums. A lie. I choked, actually choked on my own breath and burst into laughter. Hard. The kind that's mostly air and tears and absolutely no composure. Applejack blinked. Hold on, Pinky. What do you mean by lie? Rarity's face went red so fast it could have powered the stage lights. You see, that is to say... Pinky popped up like a whack-a-mole. Rarity's been writing cowboy romance about Applejack. What? Applejack and Rainbow shouted at the same time. I had to grab the edge of my chair to stay upright from laughing. Pinky, now fully energized, added, and spicy cowboy romance. Like... Rarity practically tackled her. We do not need to discuss genre in front of an audience! The band room door opened. Twilight stood there with her backpack, looking at the scene like she'd just walked into the aftermath of a tornado. Should I be worried? I wiped the tears from my cheeks, still laughing. No, definitely not. Twilight paused, considering this, and then nodded like this was actually normal. I eased the motorcycle down a gear as I turned onto Twilight Street, but the usual thrill wasn't there tonight. The closer I got to her house, the tighter my chest felt. I could already picture the ring in my sock, like it was burning a hole through my skin. I coasted into the driveway and shut the engine off. The quiet afterward felt too loud. Nightlight's rule was still in place. No motorcycles for Twilight. So I rolled my bike under the carport, same as always, and tried to breathe like a normal human being. The front door opened before I even knocked. Twilight leaned against the doorframe, arms folded, eyebrow raised, the I know you look. All right, Sunset, she said. I blinked. All right, what? What are you up to? Nothing, I said far too quickly. She stepped closer, studying my face like she was reading a book. Her voice softened. Sunset. I swallowed. I promise I'm not plotting anything illegal or catastrophic. I kissed her before she could respond. partly because I wanted to, and partly because my nerves needed somewhere to go. When we pulled back, Twilight gave me that small smile that always made me feel seen, and known in ways that scared me a little. Then why do you look like you're about to run a marathon and throw up at the same time? I laughed once. The nervous kind. Your dad answered my call earlier, I said carefully. And, oh, trust me. I know. Twilight rolled her eyes. He said your name at full volume while he was still on the phone. And then he and Mum spent 2 hours cleaning the car like they were prepping for the royal motorcade. She crossed her arms again, but there was amusement behind it now. Also, you hate sit-down restaurants unless someone is graduating, so I'll ask one more time. What are you up to? Before I could answer, Velvet's voice floated in from the kitchen. Sunset, sweetheart, could you come here for just a moment? I felt saved by the bell in real time. Back in a sec, I said, kissing Twilight's knuckles quickly as I slipped past her. Twilight narrowed her eyes, fully unconvinced. I walked into the kitchen, and Velvet closed the door behind me like we were entering a secret chamber. She lowered her voice to a whisper, eyes sparkling like she was physically holding herself together. Can I see it? Velvet's eyes were bright with excitement, and something softer, almost sentimental. She looked at me like she already knew what Twilight meant to me, even before I ever said it out loud. I nodded, fighting back a smile. Hang on a sec, I murmured, glancing back towards the living room to make sure Twilight was still out of sight. When I was sure it was just the two of us, I reached down and slid my hand into the cuff of my sock. Velvet raised an eyebrow, but then gasped when she saw what I lifted out. Wrapped in slightly wrinkled tissue paper was the ring I'd been hiding for weeks. I unfolded it carefully, like it might vanish if I moved too fast. The gold band caught the kitchen light and the 3 stones. Diamond in the centre, ruby and pink sapphire beside it, glowed softly like something alive. Velvet pressed a hand over her mouth. Sunset. Oh my goodness. A nervous laugh escaped me, the kind that comes from both excitement and terror. 3 months of extra shifts at the sushi bar, I admitted. 3 maxed out credit cards, and our friends covering me when I thought I was going to pass out on my feet. Velvet let out a breath that trembled just a little. She's going to cry when she sees that. In the best way, of course. I smiled, the kind of smile you feel in your chest. I wrapped the ring back up and tucked it safely away again. From upstairs, Nightlight's voice cut through the moment. Twily, I need to talk to you before you and Sunset go. I froze. He's not about to ruin the entire proposal plan, right? Velvet laughed and shook her head. No, Sunset. He... Seriously, Dad? Twilight's shout echoed down the hallway. I blinked. That sounded like a plot twist. You'll see, Velvet sighed, rubbing her temples. Twilight marched into the kitchen, cheeks flushed with embarrassment and annoyance. She tossed a small paper bag at my feet like it personally offended her existence. I assume you had something to do with this, she said flatly. I looked to Velvet for backup. She immediately examined a random spot on the ceiling like she'd never been involved in anything in her entire life. Oh, okay. I crouched and opened the bag. Inside were... Oh no. About 2 dozen condoms stared back at me like a health class PSA. My dad, Twilight said, exasperated, decided to send us off on our date with these, because apparently we needed to be prepared. There was a solid 2 seconds where I tried desperately to respond like a mature adult. Instead, laughter burst out of me like someone had popped a balloon. I swear I had nothing to do with this, I wheezed. Twilight covered her face with both hands. Ugh, I am never showing my face in a pharmacy again. Velvet laughed so hard she had to lean on the counter to stay upright. And for a moment, just a moment, everything felt warm and simple and full of possibility. The host seated us at a small table near the window. Warm lighting, soft music drifting from hidden speakers. It should have felt romantic. Instead, I felt like every heartbeat was trying to break out of my ribs. "Can I start you with something to drink?" she asked, placing menus in front of us. "Water," I said too fast. Twilight raised an eyebrow, the kind of eyebrow that said, "I know you better than you think." "Sweet tea for me," she said to the server, but her eyes stayed on me. I tried to pretend I didn't notice. "What?" I asked, opening my menu even though I hadn't read a single word. "You ordered immediately," Twilight said simply. And you never do that. You usually read the drink menu like you're solving a crime." I could feel the butterflies trying to claw their way out of my stomach. "I'm just decisive tonight?" The lie sounded weak, even to me. Twilight leaned forward, voice soft rather than accusatory. "Sunset. What's going on?" I opened my mouth. The server appeared again, like divine intervention. I nearly sagged with relief as Twilight ordered her meal. When the server turned to me, I forced myself to speak clearly. "I'll have the vegan white bean pasta bowl, and a garden salad." The server nodded and walked away. Twilight didn't even wait 1 second. "You are acting so weird it's making even me anxious. Talk to me." I swallowed, my throat suddenly dry. I need the restroom. Not subtle. Not smooth. Just escape." I stood and scanned the room. The server was refilling water at a nearby table. I approached her quietly. "Sorry, excuse me, I have a favor to ask." My voice shook. I'm planning to propose to my girlfriend tonight. I have this empty ring box and could you place it on the table when you bring the food? I'll handle the rest." Her expression softened in a way that told me she understood exactly what this meant. "Of course," she whispered. "I'll take care of it." I thanked her and returned to the table, trying to breathe evenly. Twilight smirked just a little. Was the line to the restroom all the way to Manhattan? I sat down, pretending to have my dignity. It was a long line. She didn't press, but she watched me. Really watched me. "Sunset," she said gently. "I don't think we should go to the movie after dinner." "Why not?" "You've been excited for this one." "Because you're not here," she said quietly. "You're in your head, and something happened today. I can feel it. I didn't have time to respond." Our plates arrived, and there it was. The small velvet box, placed neatly beside her plate. Twilight's breath caught. "Oh," she whispered. Is that for me?" I nodded. Yeah. "Open it." She lifted the lid and frowned. It's empty." My heart ached, just for a second, at how quickly her expression shifted from wonder to confusion. "Wait, no." I slid off my chair, pretending to search the floor, but my hands were already moving to my sock, to the tissue, to the ring that had lived against my skin for weeks. "Oh, thanks, Celestia," I breathed softly, this time with no theatrics. I climbed back up to one knee beside her chair. Twilight's breath shook. The whole restaurant blared except for her. "Twilight Sparkle," I said, voice steadying as the world quieted around us. "Will you marry me?" Her hand flew to her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she whispered, and then louder, brighter. "Yes, of course, yes." The restaurant applauded. Not loud, not overwhelming, just warm. A shared joy. I slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. She leaned forward, forehead against mine, smiling through her tears. "So, this is what you meant by nothing out of the ordinary, huh?" she teased. I laughed, truly laughed, the kind that comes from the heart. Absolutely. I got Twilight buckled in after the movie. She was half asleep already, leaning into the seat like gravity had claimed her. With her safe and settled, I walked to the front of the car and stretched out across the hood, letting the metal still warm from the day's sun press against my back. I let myself breathe. The night air was cool, the kind that settles gently instead of biting. The stars were faint. City light always washed them out, but the few that remained to shine felt like they were ours, like they'd come out just to witness this night. My chest felt full in a way I didn't have words for. Weeks of planning, hours of nerves, all the quiet moments of second guessing, and now, Twilight Sparkle was my fiancé. I closed my eyes, smiling up at the sky. The security guard approached, footsteps soft on the pavement. "Evening," he said, not unfriendly. "Everything all right?" "Oh, better than all right," I said, sitting up. "I just proposed." His face broke into an immediate, genuine smile. "Then congratulations." He tipped his hat, actually tipped his hat, before adding, "But they do want the lot cleared. Go enjoy the rest of your night, you two." "We will," I promised. I took one more look at the sky, like I could memorize the feeling of this exact moment. Warm hood, cool air, ring glinting faintly under the parking lot light. The soft echo of laughter from earlier still in the edges of my chest. Nothing can ruin tonight, I thought, with the kind of certainty that only happens when life feels gentle. I opened the driver's door and slid in. From the passenger seat came a tiny muffled sound. Bad movie. Sleepy. I laughed softly, not loud enough to wake her fully, and brushed my thumb across the corner of her lips, wiping away a small trail of drool. "I love you," I whispered. Twilight didn't open her eyes. "Bed. Snuggles," came out in pure, half-conscious syllables. I couldn't help another quiet laugh. I pressed the ignition button, the engine humming to life beneath us. "Let's get you home," I murmured, letting the moment breathe one last time before pulling away. I pulled out of the parking lot with the windows cracked just enough for the night air to slip in. The road was mostly empty at this hour, the streetlights stretching in long, soft reflections across the windshield. Twilight was already drifting again, her head leaning towards me. Her hand slid across the center console in her sleep, searching. I caught it, lacing my fingers through hers. Her palm was warm. The world felt still, like the night was holding us gently in its hands. I kept my voice low, almost afraid to disturb the peace. "We'll be home soon," I whispered, though she was already halfway to dreaming. The radio played something quiet, something slow, guitar and soft vocals blending into the hum of the engine. I didn't sing along this time. I just listened and breathed and tried not to think about how unbelievably lucky I felt. The highway curved upwards as we headed towards the lookout road, that gentle incline that always made the city lights fall away behind us. The stars got a little clearer. The night got a little darker in the good way, the quiet way. Twilight stared, eyes barely opening. Show me the stars when we get there, she mumbled. A smile pulled at my lips before I could stop it. Yeah, I said softly. I will. Her eyes closed again. I squeezed her hand. The road ahead was empty. Just the two of us and the hum of the tyres. Then, headlights. Too fast. Too close. At first, my mind didn't register it as a threat. Just another car coming around the bend. But it wasn't in its lane. My fingers tightened on the steering wheel. The music seemed to fade. The silence became sharp. The headlights kept coming. Sunset? Twilight's voice was small, still thick with sleep. But there was fear there now. Real fear. My heart lurched, and the world moved. Engine, tyres, breath, heartbeat. I jerked the wheel left and hit the gas, just trying to get anywhere that wasn't directly in front of that truck. The pickup swerved at the same moment. Too late, too sharp, and the car fishtailed. The headlights vanished in my peripheral. The guardrail rushed in to take their place. Metal slammed. The world exploded white. The airbag hit like a punch from someone who didn't want to hurt me, just stop me. My head snapped back, my ears rang, the seatbelt dug into my ribs, and then another impact. Glass shattered, cold night air rushed in, silence followed, just for a breath. That terrifying kind of silence where your mind tries to figure out if you're still here. Then I heard it. Sunset? Twilight's voice. Small, weak. I turned to her. Or I tried to. My body felt heavy, like everything was happening underwater. Twilight's eyes were half open. There was blood on her temple, running a line down her cheek. The sight of it knocked the air out of me harder than the crash had. Twilight. Twilight. Hey. Stay with me. My voice didn't sound like mine. My hands were shaking so badly I almost missed the emergency call button on the dashboard. The phone clicked on. 911, what is your emergency? Car crash. I managed. My throat felt tight. My fiancée, she's hurt. She's not waking up all the way. Ma'am, I need your location. I don't just ping the phone. Please, she needs help. Twilight tried to move. Her hand lifted a few inches before falling back into her lap. Stay with me. I whispered, pressing my forehead to hers. Please, just stay. My vision blurred. The operator was still talking. I could hear sirens somewhere far away, like they were underwater or behind a wall. The cold from the broken window crept over my skin. The world tipped sideways. The last thing I remember is Twilight's hand, still warm, resting against mine. And then everything went dark.